Hey guys, it's Jean-Claude. I am back from Adepticon, Vault Tour Chicago, and what a fantastic time I had. Everything was awesome. Friday I get there, I joined the Star Wars Destiny tournament. Basically the cards I opened, they were awful, but I outplayed quite a few people, and I won this sweet Darth Vader, which I showed on the Twitter account. But I don't know if you've never seen one of these before, you're gonna think that maybe this is actually a silver background. Check this out. Look at that. The card is actually clear, guys. How incredible is that? Like, how neat. Yeah, they have some awesome promos for Star Wars, that's for sure. This Destiny game, pretty badass. Great promos. These guys are worth quite a bit of money. Also, while I was there, I found all the miniature games to be pretty exciting. There was huge events. I mean, there was hundreds and hundreds of people playing all these miniature games, whether it was X-Wing, Armada, I mean, just a whole mess of these miniature games. And the most interesting part about it all, and I had to take a few pictures, I'll put them up on the screen. Yeah, they're in an official tournament, they're playing for Worlds, whatever it might be, and they're drinking. That's what they're all doing. They're all sitting there having some drinks, playing these miniature games that take like up to 2 hours, getting drunk. How awesome is that? Before I go to bed Friday to prepare for the tournament tomorrow, luckily I checked my Facebook. Why? Guess what? They had changed the way that you get into day 2. Now, this was a huge change, okay? We went from, you had to be 5-1 to get into the tournament, which meant you never actually got to play your 3 decks in survival. So, your best bet would be to take your second deck first and then play your best deck second, right? Because you never play the third deck, it's pretty much irrelevant. That gives you your greatest odds of getting into day 2. Well, the night before, they decided you're not out until all 3 of your decks are out. So that changes the strategy, and whatever deck you finished day 1 with was the deck you had to take into day 2. Whereas before, the rules said you could take any of your remaining decks as the deck you were taking to day 2. So, big change. Here's the first thing I realized. Wait a minute. I need to manipulate these rules to make it where I have the best odds of taking my best deck into day 2. So the very first thing I did was I switched my decks around. Deck 1 was actually my worst deck. Deck 2 was my second best. And my absolute best deck was deck 3. Why did I do this? Well, if it just so happened I went 4-0, I could then concede to get in. And the other perk was, since I was using my worst decks first, and a lot of people might not have picked up on this strategy, if I lose in the early rounds, which I was totally okay with because I knew my best deck was going to carry me, then I would have an easier bracket working my way up. So that's exactly what I did. I was able to win a couple games with each of the other decks, lose, get those decks out, and then finish it strong with my third and best deck so I could qualify for day 2. Honestly, guys, I was completely surprised how many of you had seen my videos. There was a lot of people that came up to me, told me they loved what I did, said they watch my videos all the time. It was really, really awesome, kind of surreal. And I even got to evaluate some people's decks. That was one of the most common questions people asked me. Well, the most common question was, are you the real Jean-Claude? And of course, a lot of people asked me to do the pose that I had at the beginning of the video. So what did I get with all my Amber Shards while I was there? Well, actually, I saved quite a few of them. But I did grab, of course, these beautiful metal keys. Check these out, guys. So that's the front. And then here's whenever they're unforged. Those are awesome. Check that out. These are probably the best thing on the entire prize wall. No joke. They're only 70 Amber Shards. They're heavy duty. They're just really nice keys. You're going to want those. What else did I get? Well, I don't know. I might have been one of the only people to grab this mat. I thought this looked awesome on stream, guys. Let's bring this out a little. Show this off. Check that out. You got where you can put you got your creatures up top here. You got your keys to the side, identity card, your deck, your discard pile. I mean, this is an awesome, awesome mat. I love everything about it. I love the Brobnar Rockstar guy. I love the Compod picture. I love the Ancient Bear. I mean, there's just something about this that just really calls to me, and I'm very happy I picked this up. It costs 10 more Amber Shards than your typical mat, but that is going to be a sweet mat to take with me anytime I go to any future conventions, which after this one, I think I'm going to have to. Okay, and on to the deck now. So this deck's a little bit different than normal. Instead of it coming from a box that I'm opening, this one actually comes from a box that me and 3 other guys opened up while we were at a Mexican restaurant eating some food. We all picked a deck from a box one by one, and there was this one particular deck we just kept passing up. Well, finally on my very last pick, I said, you know what, I'm going to take the deck no one else wants, and that's what we have here today. So, wish me luck, and hopefully these guys look back and go, what were we thinking when we passed this deck up? So, immediately, Chad in the group, he says, well, wait a minute. How do I know this is going to be this deck, right? How do I know that you're going to actually open up the deck that we all passed on? During this discussion, I realize I have a Sharpie in my pocket. So I pull it out, and all three of the guys sign it. We have Casey, man, I don't know which is the signatures of each of those guys. I had Charles and Chad. I'm going to guess this is probably Charles. I'm sure you guys will correct me whenever you see this video. But yes, this is the deck box. All right, so we're going to open up the deck. Let's see what we have here. Okay. Oh, yeah, that's never been resealed. This is the real deal. Okay. Today's deck is Dis, Sanctum and Mars, Pixu, the Kepton Observatory. And I had also made one joke about this deck. I had said that 100% was going to contain Mars, which it does. And I had made a joke about there being 5 phosphorus stars. And if there was, I'm going to just toss it. Alright, we're going to start off with Sanctum. Shoulder armor, upgrade Amber whenever you play it. While this creature is on the flank, it gets +2 armor and +2 power. Protect the weak. Amber whenever you play it, this creature gets +1 armor and gains taunt. Gatekeeper, nice. 5 power, 1 armor. Play. If your opponent has 7 more amber, capture all but 5 of it. Very, very good card. Oh, Sergeant Zachiel, 4 power, 1 armor. Whenever you play it, ready and fight with the neighboring creature. Raiding Knight, also very good. Strong, solid Sanctum here. 4 power, 2 armor. Whenever you play, capture an amber. Oh! Oh god, we have Horsemen. Oh, what a beautiful thing. Okay. We've been opening a lot of Horsemen lately, so 5 power whenever you play. For the remainder of the turn, each friendly creature can be used as if they were in the active house, but can only fight. Fantastic. Horseman of Pestilence, 5 power. Play, fight, reap. Deal 1 damage to each non-Horseman creature. Horseman of Famine, he's 5 power as well. Play, fight, reap. Destroy the least powerful creature. Horseman of Death, 5 power. Whenever you play, return each Horseman creature from your discard pile to your hand. Fantastic. Wow. And the creatures just keep coming. Alright, Champion Tabras, 6 power, 2 armor. Whenever it fights, capture an amber. This is great Sanctum so far. Besides the Horsemen, the creatures we've opened, they're all about taking care of amber, right? Raiding Knight, Champion Tabras, Zachiel helps you fight. You gotta love those play effects. And then Gatekeeper, being able to take our opponent off, forging a key for a turn is absolutely glorious. Okay, Cleansing Wave, that combos extremely well with our Horseman of Pestilence. That's just amazing. Okay, play, heal 1 damage from each creature. Gain 1 amber for each creature healed this way. Wow, this is, Okay, wait, I gotta remember, Mars is in this deck, so we can't get our hopes up too high yet. Oh god, there's 2 of them, come on! Christ, unbelievable. Okay, let's get all these swords. Wow, that is just really good. So we can play Cleansing Wave whenever we play the Horseman of Pestilence. Later on, we have another Cleansing Wave to go with it. This is absurd. Okay, that's the end of Sanctum. And thank God, because I don't know if I could have taken any more. That was awesome. Alright, it's Mars. Yixlix Dominator, 9 power, 1 armor, taunt. He enters play stunned. Yixlo Bolter, 3 power, fight, reap, deal 2 damage to a creature. If this damage destroys that creature, you get to purge it. Vesmia, Think Drone, 3 power, reap. You may archive a friendly creature or artifact from play. It's pretty good to reuse our Sergeant Zachiel, reuse maybe some of those Horseman effects. I do like it. You look at Megamouth, he 3 power, fight, reap, use a friendly non-Mars creature. Wow, 2 you look at Megamouse. And a Mind Warper, 2 power elusive. As an action, choose an enemy creature. It captures 1 amber from its own side. Decent amount of amber control so far for the houses we're looking at. That's awesome. John Smith, 2 power, he's elusive. Fight, reap, ready, a 9-agent Mars creature. Nice. Grabber Jammer, 4 power, 1 armor. Your opponent's keys cost +1 amber. Fight, reap, capture. Oh my god, look at how heavy this deck is in creatures so far. Blip It, 2 power, reap. The next Mars creature you play this turn enters player ready. And a Squawker. Amber whenever you play it, ready a Mars creature or stun a non-Mars creature. Oh, god dang it. Phosphorus Stars, you're out. Not even going to read it. Whoa, but hold up. We got Hypnotic Command. Okay, whenever you play it, for each friendly ready Mars creature, choose an enemy creature to capture 1 from its own side. This deck has so much Amber control for being Sanctum and Mars. It is absolutely bonkers. Okay, that ends the Mars. Now we're on to Succubus. 3 power. During their draw card step, your opponent refills their hand to 1 less card. Stealer of Souls, 6 power. After an enemy creature is destroyed, fighting Stealer of Souls, purge that creature and gain 1 Amber. Pit Demon, 5 powers in action, steal an Amber. Nice. Ember Imp, 2 power. Your opponent cannot play more than 2 cards each turn. 2 Ember Imps. Charette, 4 power. Play capture 3. Nice. Andalash of Broken Dreams. Oh my gosh. Okay, Artifact, as an action, keys cost +3 Amber during your opponent's next turn. Fantastic. Dominator Bobble. Okay, it's an artifact. As an action, use a friendly creature. Mind Barb. Whenever you play it, your opponent discards a random card from their hand. Fear. Return an enemy creature to its owner's hand. 2 Fears. 3 Fears. Okay, wow, that's the last card of the deck. This deck is pretty good, guys. Alright, let's see here. So, a great thing about Fear, there's so many times you can just reset exactly what your opponent just did. They might play an action or two, but like especially first turn, if this is in your starting hand, and your opponent went first, and then you get to call Dis, get rid of the creature they just played, and maybe plop down either an artifact or a couple creatures of your own. That's pretty big to reset, make it where they didn't get to do anything, and now you're going first, but you don't have the play restriction of just 1 card. So those are great. Mind Barb, this is just a great utility card. You're going to use it in every situation. There's a lot of times where your opponent might be just holding on to a card for quite a while, a bait and switch, whatever it might be, and you're going to have a 1 in 6 chance of just eliminating that card, so it's nice. Dominator Bobble, always good. We're going to talk about some of the uses of that later. Lash, we love it. Alright, Charette, more Amber control. Light in the Dis area? Well, no, not really. Look at these 2 cards. How can I possibly say that? This is really good. This deck has an insane amount of Amber control. Ember Imps are fantastic in some of the Logos decks. Prevent them from going off right away. You're going to force them to have certain cards in their hand, whether it's Twin Bolt Emission, or find a different way, slow themselves down if they don't have Twin Bolt Emission, to play some other creatures to take these guys out, which, an interesting note here with these Ember Imps, that Yixlix Dominator, he might play a really big part depending on what you know your opponent has, right? So you're going to look in advance, you're going to be an Archon event, you're going to look at what your opponent has, you're going to know exactly what sort of strategy you want to employ with this deck, and that right there, sometimes that's good enough, right? And Pit Demon being able to steal, also Amber control. Stealer of Souls, I love purging creatures, you hear me say that all the time. Fantastic card, 6 power. Succubus, always good, great first turn play. I love this Mars. This Mars has so much Amber control. This Hypnotic Command can be huge. I mean, this can be so big, right? And our Sanctum creatures have such a board presence that it won't take us too long to be able to get all that Amber that our opponents actually had. Just take it away from the creatures by killing them, still having our Sanctum creatures survive. It's really good. Squawker, always a fantastic card. Being able to use your best Mars creature or to stun your opponent's best creature, fantastic. Blip Blip, I mean, extra value there. Grabber Jammer, shutting down our opponent there at 6 Amber, great card. John Smith, can't say enough about him. The Mind Warper, incredible. You look at Megamouth, I mean, we're going to have to see what all we can use with him. Let's see, just being able to steal on a Mars turn with the Pit Demon is so good. Let's see. And then, of course, maybe doing some things like with the Horseman, that's even better, right? Let's see here. Vesma Think Drone, fantastic. Bolter, once again, purging creatures, awesome. Alright, so Sanctum is really where this deck shines, okay? I mean, the rest is good, don't get me wrong. But these 2 cleansing waves with the Horseman is so strong. It is so good because that means you can draw one of these early, doesn't matter, you can get rid of it. And then still for the late game, whenever you play Horseman of Death, to get back your Pestilence, you can just be holding on to this card, right? You can just be ready. Because you know you don't necessarily need the Pestilence in your hand. It could already be in your graveyard, have the Death. That's going to be awesome. It's going to be a lot of Amber you can generate just out of nowhere. Yeah, Champion Tavers. I mean, look at how much armor we have here. This is so good. Then we got this to also give Taunting armor. We can really set something like this up on, like the Stealer of Souls, maybe even a Pit Demon, just to make them one more power can sometimes make a big difference. Let's see. Yeah, we didn't have too many others. I mean, obviously Dominator is already huge. Hell, just making this guy a 9 power 2 armor is pretty good, right? Yeah, everything else is a little bit weak. Let's see here. Yeah, I don't think we want to do it to too many others. But then, shoulder armor. So the creature, whenever it's on the flank, getting +2 armor, +2 power, that's huge as well. So I don't know, this deck has, let's see, definitely light on Amber. I don't even know what to count these, right? I'm just going to be real, let's see, what am I going to be? Oh, I can't think of the word here. I'm going to go extremely light on these and call these maybe 2 amber each, so that's 5, 6 amber right there in Sanctum. Let's see, I think we only had the 1 in Mars, right? Just Squawker. Oh, well, 7, and then this kind of is, we'll call this, so that's 9, that's 8, sorry, that's 10, 11, 12, yeah, so it's super light on Amber, on the cards themselves, but this deck is all about the board, and even if our opponent has some board wipes, it's not really going to matter. The Horsemen coming back, the being able to just constantly drop down Mars or Sanctum creatures depending on what's in our hand, we're going to be able to really control the board. And what's important is all these guys have just great effects whenever you're either fighting or reaping with them, and it's going to make the game very swingy in your favor. I mean, being able to use Mind Warper twice with the John Smith, that's fantastic. Doing the same thing with Grabber Jammer. I mean, there's quite a bit of capture in this deck. It's actually way better than it's probably ever going to... I'm sure the rating on this deck is going to be real low. It's got to be real low. It doesn't have any massive board wipe. It's got the little bit of creature control like from the Fears, but its board presence, as I said, it's up there. It's very good. As I said, and I think these are going to be real surprising if you can pull this off. If you can get those Horsemen rocking with these Cleansing Waves. Oh, and of course, that whole time I was going through, did not mention this card at all. Yep. What an awful card. Ugh. Alright, I want to thank you guys for watching my videos, and I will see you next time.